What's up everyone, Fornitron here, and today we're checking out Guerrilla Games' leap into the LEGO universe with their adaptation of the Horizon series in the tiny, blocky Legoverse. Does this more kid-friendly version build something special, or does it collapse faster than a poorly made Lego tower that I made when I was 5? Let's get into it. How I played. I was gifted a copy of LEGO Horizon Adventures via the Epic Games Store on PC. I played on my R7 7800 X3D, RTX 3080 gaming PC, and I played at 1440p on maximum settings. Story, 14 out of 20. LEGO Horizon Adventures is clearly a game for kids, but it actually does a good job summarizing the stories of Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. What I especially loved about this kids version of the story is that they didn't make you play as child Aloy for literally no reason. It's almost like they knew that that part of the game was completely useless. There are two types of cutscenes. There's the cinematic type that are pre-rendered cutscenes. They might possibly be rendered in-game, but they look fantastic. These cutscenes are on the same cinematic level as like the LEGO movies. Then there are the dialogue type cutscenes, which just has close-ups of the characters while speaking dialogue to each other. Both were very effective, and I was surprised at how much quality they put in these cutscenes in a watered-down kids game. It almost made me think that this should have just been one of those straight-to-DVD LEGO movies. It's a kids game, so the world building is very surface level. The story and main drive is basically told through narration, and there is some throwaway dialogue here and there throughout the playthrough. The story takes the two bloated premises and storylines of the two existing Horizon games and simplifies them down to a short 6 to 8 hour kid story. Funny enough, I thought this did a better job at telling its story than the two existing Horizon games did. Graphics, 15 out of 15. The characters and designs are top notch. Like I mentioned earlier, the quality is cinema level with the LEGO movies. Everything looks incredible, and I was genuinely impressed with the character models and animations in this game. I know with the older LEGO games, some feedback shared is some environmental elements or some background objects are not LEGO items, but LEGO Horizon Adventures has incredible environments that are such a pleasure to look at and examine all the little details. I was very impressed with how intricate all of the environments were. From fire effects to lightning, everything looked top tier. I keep repeating myself, but this game truly encapsulates the high quality of a full-on LEGO movie. It is kind of funny that this game has such a high quality for the level of gameplay it has. More on that later. Audio, 9 out of 15. The soundtrack here feels very safe and cookie cutter. Exactly what you'd expect from a kid's game. There's nothing exceptional about it, but nothing truly terrible either. It just kind of sits in mediocrity. Now I get it, this game is aimed at a younger audience and is trying to keep things light and fun, but I still think you could do that without resorting to generic xylophone tracks that feel more at home in a kindergarten playroom than a AAA gaming experience. The boss music falls into the category of typical high-intensity background noise. Basically, think of elevator music, just cranked up with a faster BPM. For me, great boss music needs to evoke some kind of emotion. It should draw me in, make me feel like the stakes have been raised, or add weight to the encounter. But with games like this, it feels like they think speeding up the track or just tossing in some stereotypical intense tones is enough. And honestly, it just doesn't hit the mark. I thought the audio mix was done pretty well overall. The voice acting is a little campy, but that actually works perfectly for a kid's game like this. I was pleasantly surprised by how much more I enjoy these characters in a lighter, more playful environment compared to their main titles. And honestly, I actually liked Aloy in this game. She works so much better as an upbeat, lovable protagonist rather than the stoic, stiff version we usually get. This Aloy feels approachable and fun, whereas in the mainline titles, I've always found her standoffish and frankly, pretty unlikable. Performance, 9 out of 10. LEGO Horizon Adventures runs great across all platforms. I'm pretty sure every console manages to hit a solid 60 FPS for the most part. On PC, it runs even better. I was easily able to push it well into the 100 FPS range. That said, I do wish more games offered something beyond the usual two modes, graphics and performance. I feel like this game in particular could benefit from a balance mode on consoles, where it could still deliver close to 60 FPS without sacrificing too much on visual quality. LEGO Horizon Adventure runs fantastic, and I also encountered zero cosmetic or gameplay bugs or glitches. Very impressive. I'm glad to see that less games are releasing super broken in 2024. LEGO Horizon Adventures is a very simple game, but I was still happy to not run into any bugs or even cosmetic glitches. Gameplay, 26 out of 40. The controls are simple and work well for a game like this. Think of it as a very simplified version of ARPG controls, similar to Diablo or even something like Battle Slug. Everything felt smooth and fluent, which I appreciated, but there wasn't anything particularly amazing or mind-blowing about them. LEGO Horizon Adventure sticks to some pretty basic mechanics. You unlock different weapon specials as you progress, and you can choose between two of them. This part reminded me a lot of old school Battle Slug, except the ammo of your pickups isn't unlimited. You can also unlock different story characters as co-op buddies, which is a nice touch, but I played through the entire game solo. The pacing is fast and straight to the point, which is exactly what you'd expect from a kid's game. What really impressed me though was how well they condensed the story of Horizon Zero Dawn. Honestly, I think I prefer this version. It's just the essentials with no unnecessary bloat or padding. The UI and UE are minimal and effective. The menus are super easy to navigate and nothing feels overly complicated or clunky. My only minor gripe is that there's no option to completely remove the UI, which means I couldn't grab any clean scenic shots without the menus getting in the way. All of the boss designs were excellent, fun to look at and really well crafted, but the mechanics? Pretty simple. Most bosses just spam ads at you while using a couple of unique abilities. What's worse is that a lot of them eventually show up later as regular NPC enemies, which I'm not a fan of. That being said, there are a couple of true bosses that really stood out and were fantastic. I just wish there had been more of them. There were a few unique enemies, but I felt like the game could have used more variety. The lack of diversity becomes even more noticeable because the level layouts and missions just feel so similar. This is where the game really struggles. A lot of the common feedback is that the levels and missions feel too similar, with the same set of activities repeated over and over. That feedback is completely valid. You're essentially cycling through the same 3 or 4 mission and level types on repeat. It gets very repetitive and you can easily plow through the game on autopilot. That said, I have to remind myself, this game is clearly aimed at kids. The repetitive design and minimal complexity are intentional to keep it simple and accessible. If you're looking for an intricate level design, clever puzzles, or deep exploration, this is not the game for you. LEGO Horizon Adventures is none of those things and it was never trying to be. There are plenty of in-game unlockables you can buy using the golden LEGO block currency. These range from new outfits for Aloy to different designs and buildings you can customize in the hub. While these options were fun, none of them felt compelling enough to make me want to grind through missions or side quests to unlock them. Even with the in-game unlockables, I can confidently say I'd never be playing LEGO Horizon Adventures again. This is definitely a one and done game for me. Sure, you could try harder difficulties, but with the repetitive and overly similar level designs, there's just no real incentive for multiple playthroughs of the game in my opinion. Bonus, 2 out of 4. LEGO Horizon Adventures has some basic colorblind options, and you can remap the controls, but that's about it. I was honestly surprised that a Sony-owned studio would offer such limited accessibility features. Most Sony studio games are known for having really in-depth accessibility options, so it was a bit of a shock to see such a minimal menu here. Overall, 75 out of 100. Good. LEGO Horizon Adventures is a really confusing game for me. Who is this for? Who asked for this? Those are some questions that come to mind. I get that it's a simple, kid-friendly game with a PlayStation IP, but I still find myself asking, who wanted this? And for a full $70 USD AAA price. The Horizon games is a series that the industry keeps pushing as a mainstream hit, but it just isn't. These games have an unfortunate habit of releasing at the worst possible times and quickly fading into obscurity. But with each new release from Guerrilla Games, I'm starting to realize it's not just the timing. Horizon games aren't memorable enough to make an impact. It's like when Hollywood tries to push a new movie star on us and tells us that they're the next big thing, when they never quite catch on. This game should have been released at $40 USD tops. No one was asking for a $70 LEGO game based on the story of Horizon Zero Dawn or Forbidden West. And I think the Steam player count shows that. Honestly, I think this would have worked better as a fun animated LEGO movie featuring the Horizon characters and story.